Humans, welcome back to the Culture Guys channel. I am Mike Nix, the host of the Culture Guys channel and also the herald of the gods. I just came back from seeing the Joker 2, Folie, and I had to take a minute to collect my thoughts and everything, and I want to try to just get right to the point about this. This was a waste of time. This whole thing, Todd Phillips, was a waste of time. It was a waste of money. It was a waste of, I won't say it was a whole waste of time because he won an Oscar for the first Joker, so it wasn't a waste of time, obviously, for him. And honestly, if you're an actor, if you know anything about acting, I've got a lot of acting buddies and friends that are in the business, in the industry. And there's a lot that goes into it. It's never a waste of time. It's always adding to somebody's resume, director, writer, screenplay, all of that shit. But man, before going into this movie, I already knew. So my friends had told me that this was going to be trash, but I was like, nope. The gods demand that I see this movie because I am the eyes and the ears and the voice of the culture gods. So they demanded I see it to see if it's worthy for them. First of all, if we go back to my history with musicals, okay, let me just say right off the bat. When I heard this was going to be a musical, I was like, nope. I don't think that this belongs. This needs to be a musical. I didn't even think there needed to be a part two. If we go all the way back, when I saw the first standalone Joker and how it was in a time where the DC universe was kind of in limbo, I was like, man, what are we doing? The DC universe was already pissing everybody off. Well, I don't say pissing everybody off, but there was no unification within the universe at all. By the time this Joker came out, the first Joker came out, I was like, okay, standalone Joker, everyone's going to run out to see it because we've never had a standalone Joker movie. But turns out Todd Phillips wanted nothing to do with the DC universe. We'll get to that in a minute because Todd. But anyway, my history with musicals, I like musicals. I don't love them. I don't think they're necessary for all forms of medium, but I love that they exist as a genre in the entertainment industry. There's plays, obviously there's, that have gone on and had great success, tons of movies. I grew up with a lot of phenomenal musicals, timeless musicals, such as Serafina, The Wiz with Michael Jackson, Little Shop of Horrors, and of course, the greatest musical of all time, The Lion. And it's not even close. I mean, banger after banger after banger from beginning to end. It's not even close. The gods have spoken. Don't argue with me on this one. When I heard that this was going to be a musical and then the Lady Gaga was going to be Harley Quinn, two things that came to mind immediately was nope and nope. No offense to any Lady Gaga fans out there. She's a great talent. She's got great music. She's got a great career. Great. But I was just so confused, especially now that the DC universe was going to be ripped apart anyway. But what I didn't know and what I later found out was that Todd Phillips wanted nothing to do with the DC universe in the first place. So his vision of the Joker, which I thought was just going to be, okay, the DC universe is about to start doing these standalone films that are, kind of like Marvel has, every movie is filmed within a different genre, like a buddy cop or, romantic comedy or however they were doing it. The DC was going to start doing something like that. They did not. Starting off with this movie, right out the gate, they pick up where the last movie left off for the most part. So he's in Arkham and the guards are just messing him up. There's one guard in there that he becomes cool with, and he's giving him cigarettes all the time. And this takes place back in the 70s. He's going through the trying to get rehabilitated while he's at Arkham, and in the process, he runs into Harley Quinn. And Harley Quinn is there because there's like a music class or something like that. And the music class, he meets Harley Quinn and they immediately connect, right? They bond. But then his trial starts. So then his trial starts from the events that happened in the first movie. And when the trial starts, he's got a defense lawyer, and Harvey Dent is the prosecuting attorney, young Harvey Dent. I think that's like one of the few Easter eggs from the Batman DC universe in this movie, by the way, which I don't want to get into. But so the trial's going on, and during the trial, he fires his lawyer, and basically there's some pieces, some key elements in this movie that I really thought, I'll put it like this: the acting in the movie was great. It was A1. Joaquin delivers once again. So let me say first and foremost, the acting is outstanding. If you go see this movie, if you ever check out the movie when it's on streaming, you won't be. There's two parts to this. There's the acting part of it, and then there's the movie itself and what it represents. Fan bases are funny, and I'm gonna get to that in another video about fan bases, like toxicity and that word being thrown around and fandom and shit like that. I don't want to get into it now because there's more data I need to collect, because you humans are funny. But I didn't think there was going to be any vitriol about this movie coming out. I had my own doubts because I didn't think there needed to be another Joker movie. If that first one was a standalone movie and had nothing to do with anything DC, anything with the James Gunn universe, I don't want it. I don't want it at this point. I don't think it needs to be even made. You're wasting your time. It's going to be its own thing. It was nominated. Joaquin got his Oscar, and I think that's great. But this being a sequel with being a musical, I didn't think was even necessary. Not a whole lot to it, y'all, for real. It kind of ends how you think. Basically, there's a trial. The trial is they go through all of the timeline of leading up to basically him killing the 5 people, and he's falling in love with Harley, but Harley's he says something in the courtroom that makes Harley feel like, yo, you're not, I don't know. It was weird. It was like he was being himself and he was coming to grips with who he was and what he did. And he kind of admitted everything. And Harley didn't like that. I guess maybe because he was reverting too much back to being Arthur versus the Joker. And their whole dynamic, let me talk about that too. The Harley Joker dynamic as we know it did not exist in here. Their relationship is toxic as fuck. You know how we throw the word toxic around these days like it's nothing, like these buzzwords that these kids learn off of TikTok, the psychiatry buzzwords that they think they're really using the right way, like narcissist. Yeah. Well, toxic was Joker and Harley for real. Figuratively and literally, if I think about it, because didn't he fall into like a vat of toxic chemicals to become the Joker? Anyway, so, but the Joker and Harley, they have this on again, off again relationship, and where like, when they're about to go do some shit, do some bullshit, be on some ratchet shit, and the cops pull up or Batman pulls up, like Joker is out of there, man. And he leaves Harley behind, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes like, I guess I gotta go back and get this bitch. Like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's that type of toxic. There was none of that in this movie. It was Joker falling for a girl because she was the only one that quote unquote understood him, and probably the first girl that ever really liked him in his life. And then she pushed him away and ran away at the end. I think she's the one that set off the car bomb that let him out, I think. But then after that, when they meet up in the stairs, and those infamous stairs where he was dancing in the first movie, she pushes him away. So anyway, dude gets violated in prison. It was crazy. At least they allude to it. They didn't show the actual scene, but they showed leading up to the scene and then after the scene, which is fucked up. And then as that's happening, his homeboy that is a young dude that he was cool with in jail, the young bull gets killed too. So now he lost his friend, he lost his girl, and he got raped. I guess I can't say rape on YouTube. Graped. So then he goes back to court to represent himself finally, and obviously he gets found guilty of the murders, and he admits to his mom's murder. So now he's back at Arkham again, and then he ends up getting stabbed at the end. I'm just gonna leave it there. Let me jump into Todd Phillips, bro, because if I had the sword of the culture gods with me, it's gonna be back here one of these days. Okay. The sword, let me tell you, the sword of the culture gods swings mighty and it swings true to carve out anything that is detrimental to the culture. This would have been one of those movies, because Todd Phillips set out to create his own thing that was never going to even develop into anything more. And I feel like it was a waste of time, resources, and an insult to the DC comic book fan base, especially knowing now that James Gunn gave you some tips to help you move this in a direction, and you ripped them shits up and was like, nope. Or you got that text message was like, man, fuck this nigga. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do. Because clearly that's what you did. I'm all about multiverses. I'm all about alt world versions of shit that already exists. I'm all for it. But when you don't even tap into any of that, come on, man. Like, Harley Quinn is probably my top 1 or 2 picks of favorite female villains in all of comics. She's like an anti-hero, really. She's not really a villain, but you know what I mean. And my favorite relationship in all of comics is the Joker and Harley. And Batman and Catwoman is my second favorite. And you didn't even tap into any of that. I mean, again, I told you in the Penguin video, I don't need Batman to show up in every scene. Or I don't need Batman mentioned. I don't need you to show the bat signal and then play the little subtle Batman music from the 90s to kind of let me know that Batman's lurking in the background, or they just mentioned Bruce Wayne, or the alleyway shooting, or Zorro. I don't need any of that for a Gotham story to be great. Again, the acting was great. If they could have just had a better direction, and if this could have been from jump a unified story that was going to be tied into the DC world and universe, it probably would have went off a little bit better. As a musical, I'm not going to remember any of those songs. I don't care. I think, again, Lady Gaga, she's a talented woman, but she wasn't needed. I don't think that made me, when I heard that Lady Gaga was going to be playing Harley Quinn, it made me go, wow, it didn't make me excited at all. I think that this movie wasn't necessary and didn't need to be made. Todd Phillips, the gods are not pleased. So I'm glad this shit is over with. I'm glad Todd Phillips, he said he is done making these types of movies. He wants to go back to making the movies that he wants to make. I know he started off, making, I think in his early years, he was doing like documentaries and shit on like bands and college kids and shit like that. I think he helped direct Road Trip. I think that came out, I want to say in the 90s, maybe the early 2000s. I can't remember. But good. Stay the fuck away from DC. Don't even come back over here, bro. Oh, I'm sorry. Warner Brothers, because since that's who you decided to do your shit with. And I'm not mad about it at all, y'all. Like I was like, damn, at least the acting was good. I always try to find something to celebrate in every piece of art or medium that I view. Even if it's not as entertaining as I want it to be, I don't get mad about it for real. I'm just like, you know what? Okay, I can see these elements here work. These elements didn't. I can see why it didn't come together. But when the motivation isn't there from the beginning to make something that's in a continued or unified universe, and you just off doing your own shit, we can tell. And the gods know. And now, we can move on with James Gunn's vision and Matt Reeves' vision of DC. And hopefully, you know, what we get coming down the line is going to be shit that's going to be like falling in line with what they've done already, which so far it sounds like it is. And I couldn't be more happy. I'm very excited. But the Joker 2, terrible movie. Don't go see it. If you haven't seen it, it's probably going to be out of theaters here real soon. If it comes on streaming, don't even waste your time. But if you got some time, 2 hours and 19 minutes that you want to spend, like, you know, you could be like doing that and like, I don't know, making cookies or something while it's playing in the background and shit. I promise you, you ain't going to be missing nothing. That's my review for Joker 2. I'm out of here. The guy said I have to go. And you know what? All those people that shitted on Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and all those people that shitted on Jared Leto as the Joker, you get what you deserve. Catch y'all in the next video. You better pull up. And remember, don't do it for me. Do it for the God.